Welcome to the video series on Python programming. In this video, I am going to review a few things of Python. So what is Python? Python is a simple programming language that was created by Guido van Rossum. Python can be used to perform computations, to develop games, robots, and various other applications. There are two modes in which Python can work. One is the interactive mode and the other one is the script mode. In the interactive mode, the instructions are executed line by line, giving the output. So when we require instantaneous results, we can use the interactive mode of Python. A script is a program that you type in Python. So when you want to write a long program and view the result at the end of the program, we can use the script mode of Python. Let's take a small example of how the interactive mode in Python works. I'm going to write the Python command next to the command prompt in the Python shell. Print hello world. The statement that needs to be printed as the output is written in double quotes. Now press the enter key. So hello world has been displayed on the output screen instantaneously in the interactive mode of Python. I have written a program to calculate the area and perimeter of a square in the script mode of Python. The area of the square can be calculated using the formula side into side. This is stored in the variable area. The perimeter of a square is calculated using the formula 4 into side, which is stored in the variable pm. Once the area and perimeter of the square are calculated, these area and perimeter are printed on the output screen using our program. So let's run this and see the output. 5. So I have entered the side of the square as 5. The area of the square has been calculated successfully as 25 and the perimeter of the square has been calculated successfully as 20. Python uses input function in order to accept a value from the user. The value accepted from the user is stored into a variable. To input the integer and float values, we can use int or float along with the input function in Python. A variable is a named memory location that stores certain data. The value of a variable may change during the program execution. We have to define certain valid variable names in Python programming. Data types in Python represent the type of data stored in a variable. The data stored in memory can have several types. For example, a numeric value can be stored in order to represent a student's marks, while an alphanumeric character can be stored in order to represent the address of the student. Integer is one of the data types. Int stores value in a certain range. Long int is nothing but long integers that supports the values that lie beyond the range of integers. Boolean is another type of data type. It represents logical values in the form of true or false. 0 represents false, while 1 is represented by true. Float represents the floating point values, that is the number with the fractional part, such as 5.6. Another kind of data type is string. A string data type represents the string of characters. The string is enclosed with within quotation marks. Let's see a Python program to understand more about data types in Python. N1 is the variable which is taking input from the user using the input function. It is taking the input as an integer value. N2 is another variable which is taking a floating point number as an input from the user. N3 is equal to N1 greater than N2. Using the print statement, we are going to print the value stored in N3. Now, if N1 is greater than N2, then N3 will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. str is a variable that is taking input from the user in the form of a string. Let's see the output of this program. Enter integer number. I'll enter 25. Enter float number. I'll enter 67.5. So our N1 is 25. Our N2 is 67.5. Since N1 is not greater than N2, N3 has returned the value false. Now the program is asking me to enter a string value. So I'll enter Shriya, which is a string, and click enter. Operators in Python are nothing but symbols that are used to perform arithmetic and logical operations on operands. After performing these operations, they provide a meaningful result. There are several kinds of operators in Python. One of them is arithmetic operator. The arithmetical operators are used to perform basic mathematical calculations. These can be classified into unary operators that work on single operands and binary operators that work on two operands. The mathematical calculations that can be performed using these operators are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus operation. The modulus operation is nothing but the division of numbers to provide the remainder. Assignment operators are used to assign a value to a variable. For example, x is equal to 150. Here, the variable x is assigned the value of 150. Relational operators are another kind of operators in Python. The relational operators are used to show the relationship between the operands. For example, less than, greater than, equal to, not equal to can be used to show the relationship between two operands. Logical operators are used to combine two or more conditional statements and perform logical operations. The logical operators provide result in the form of true or false value. And, or, and not operator are few examples of the logical operators. The string operators are used to work on the string values. The string operators can be classified as concatenation operator, that is used to join two string values, and replication operator, that is used to repeat a string value for a number of times. The BODMAS rule is used to evaluate the operators in an expression. Lists in Python are nothing but a collection of data types available in Python. The contents of a list are nothing but comma-separated values or items between square brackets. The values in the lists can be accessed by using a square bracket for slicing along with the index to obtain the value available at the index. So let's take a Python program as an example to understand more about comments and lists in Python. So let's write a single line comment first, starting with a hash character. program to demonstrate Python list and single line comment. So the single line comment has automatically terminated at the end of the line. Now I'll define a list. A list is nothing but a collection of comma separated values that are written under the square brackets. So let's define a list. List 1 is equal to square brackets 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5. List 2 is equal to square brackets. Since I'm writing strings, I'm going to write it under single quotes. Arya, comma, Mayuresh, comma, Sujal, comma, Tejal, comma, Aradhya. So I've defined list 1 and list 2. List 1 consists of integers while list 2 consists of strings. A list can contain a mixture of strings as well as integers. So let's define a third string containing two data types of Python. List 3 is equal to deep, comma, Arnav, comma. So here I'm going to write an integer 10, comma, 20, comma. And again I'm defining a string, so I'm going to write single quotes. Sanika. Now let's see how we can access values in a list. So let's print list item at second position of list 1, comma, list 1 square brackets and the index 1. Similarly, print list item at fifth position from list 2, colon, comma, list 2 square brackets and the fourth position. I mean the fourth number, so that the fifth position is accessed. Enter. Print list item from third position to fifth position from list 3, comma, list 3 square brackets. We want to print the items from the third position to the fifth position. So here I'll write 2, colon, 5. So let's see the output of this program. Run. So now the second position, the item at the second position of list 1 was 2. So at the output we have received 2. The item at the fifth position of the list 2 was Aradhya. So we have got Aradhya as our output. And the items From the third position to the fifth position in list 3 are 10, 20, and Sanika. So all the values from the list have been accessed successfully using our Python program. The conditional statements in Python are used to check a certain condition and execute the statements in Python accordingly. The if statement is a conditional statement that is used when we have to evaluate only one condition. If condition 1 is satisfied, then statement 1 is executed. The if-else statements are used when either of the two conditions need to be checked and results need to be performed according to the conditional expression. If condition 1 is satisfied, statement 1 is executed. Else, statement 2 is executed. The if, elif, and else statements are the conditional statements that are used when we need to work with multiple conditions. If condition 1 is satisfied, statement 1 is executed. Elif condition 2 is satisfied, statement 2 is executed. Else, statement 3 is executed. In this video, we had a brief review on Python. We learned how the interactive and script mode in Python can be used, how the input function and data types in Python are defined. We learned about the arithmetic and logical operators and the conditional statements in Python. We also learned the importance of comments in Python and how we can define single line and multi-line comments in Python. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.